Simon Cowell was born on October 7, 1959, in London, England, into a family that looked comfortable from the outside. His mother, Julie Brett, had once been a ballet dancer and carried herself with elegance, while his father, Eric Cowell, worked as a music industry executive. Their home in Hertfordshire appeared stable and respectable, yet Simon later described his childhood as emotionally distant. Love wasn't openly expressed, and praise was rare. His father believed strongly in discipline and results, rarely offering encouragement. As a child, Simon often felt unnoticed, unsure of where he truly fit. Those early years quietly shaped his personality. Without constant reassurance, he learned to rely on determination and self-belief. Looking back, Simon has said his parents cared deeply, but communication about feelings simply wasn't common in their household. That emotional distance would later fuel a strong desire to prove himself and create something meaningful in life. School years and the search for direction. School never felt like the right place for Simon. Teachers saw him as restless and distracted, while he felt bored by rigid classroom routines. At Radlett Preparatory School and later Dover College, he struggled to follow traditional academic paths. It wasn't that he lacked intelligence, he simply didn't connect with the structure. He questioned authority, challenged rules, and often found himself in trouble. Eventually, he left school with only modest qualifications and little idea of what the future held. Watching classmates move confidently toward careers or university made him feel uncertain about his own direction. Those years were humbling, yet they planted an important seed. Simon realized he would have to create his own path rather than follow a conventional one. That realization, though uncomfortable at the time, would later become one of the driving forces behind his determination to succeed in a world that didn't always offer clear opportunities. The mailroom, that changed everything. Simon's first real step into the entertainment industry came through a job at EMI Music Publishing, where his father helped him get a position in the mailroom. The work was simple: sorting letters, delivering packages, and helping staff with small tasks. But it gave him a front-row seat to the music business. Every day he watched producers discuss songs, artists negotiate deals, and executives decide which records would reach the public. Instead of seeing the job as a dead end, Simon treated it like an education. He studied how the industry worked, paying attention to what audiences liked and how successful artists were promoted. Slowly, he realized that popularity often depended on understanding listeners rather than impressing critics. Those observations quietly shaped his philosophy about entertainment. The mailroom might have been the lowest rung on the ladder, but for Simon it became the place where he began learning the rules of a business he would one day influence in a major way. Early ambitions and a difficult setback. By the early 1980s, Simon had worked his way into a junior A&R role, helping identify potential artists and songs. Feeling ambitious, he eventually decided to start his own record label, Fanfare Records, alongside a colleague. For a while, things looked promising. The label released catchy pop songs that gained attention on the UK charts, including Sunita's hit So Macho. Success brought excitement and confidence. Simon enjoyed the energy of building something from the ground up and seeing his decisions turn into real results. However, the music industry can change quickly. Trends shifted, and the label struggled to keep up with evolving tastes. By the late 1980s, the business collapsed, leaving Simon facing serious financial problems. It was a painful moment in his life, forcing him to step back and reconsider everything he thought he knew about success. Yet even in disappointment, he began learning lessons that would guide his future. Television and an unexpected opportunity. In 2001, a new opportunity appeared when producers developed a television singing competition called Pop Idol. Simon was invited to join the judging panel. At first he hesitated. Television was unfamiliar territory, and he wondered whether viewers would respond well to a music executive giving honest critiques. Eventually, he agreed, and the show quickly became a sensation in the United Kingdom. What made Simon stand out was his straightforward feedback. While other judges focused on encouragement, he spoke openly about performances, both good and bad. Audiences found his honesty refreshing, and the show's popularity grew rapidly. That success led to the creation of American Idol in 2002, bringing Simon to a much larger international audience. Almost overnight, he became one of the most recognizable figures on television. The once unknown mailroom employee had suddenly become a central voice in global entertainment, building a global entertainment empire. With the success of American Idol, Simon's career expanded rapidly. He helped create new television formats, including the X Factor and the Got Talent franchise. These shows offered performers from many backgrounds a chance to share their abilities with millions of viewers. Over time, they launched the careers of artists such as Kelly Clarkson, Carrie Underwood, and groups like One Direction. The programs spread around the world, with versions appearing in dozens of countries. For Simon, the appeal was simple. He enjoyed discovering potential and helping it reach a wider audience. His production company, Psycho Entertainment, grew into a powerful force in television and music. The scale of the shows also reflected his long-held belief that audiences should play a role in choosing their favorite performers. By the late 2000s, his influence in entertainment was enormous, shaping pop culture across continents. Fatherhood and a new perspective. In 2014, Simon's life changed in a deeply personal way when his son, Eric, was born. Becoming a father introduced a new sense of responsibility and perspective. For someone who had spent decades focused primarily on work, the experience encouraged him to slow down and pay attention to family life. Friends and colleagues noticed the difference. Simon began arranging his schedule to spend more time at home, sharing everyday moments with his son, simple things like reading stories or building toys together. He often speaks about how fatherhood reshaped his priorities. While television projects and business deals remained important, they no longer defined everything. Instead, he began thinking more about balance and the kind of example he wanted to set for the next generation. That shift marked an important turning point, bringing a quieter sense of purpose alongside his professional achievements. Health challenges and recovery. In 2020, Simon experienced a serious accident while testing an electric bike at home, which led to a significant back injury requiring surgery. The recovery process was long and demanding, involving physical therapy and careful rehabilitation. The experience reminded him how quickly life can change and how important health truly is. Over time, he worked steadily to regain strength and mobility. A later minor cycling accident reinforced the importance of caution and self-care. These experiences encouraged Simon to adopt a healthier lifestyle and reduce some of the pressures he had placed on himself during earlier years. He began focusing more on fitness, routine, and well-being. The accidents were challenging, but they also provided an opportunity to reassess priorities and appreciate the support of family and friends during recovery. Reflection, growth, and looking forward. Now in his 60s, Simon Cowell continues to work in entertainment while approaching life with a calmer outlook. He still appears on talent shows, but his role often feels more supportive and reflective than it once did. Years of experience, along with personal challenges, have shaped a more patient perspective. Outside of television, he spends much of his time with family and continues supporting charitable initiatives, particularly those focused on children's health and creative education. Looking back, his journey includes success, setbacks, reinvention, and growth. From uncertain school years to global television stages, the path has never been simple. Yet Simon often emphasizes that the most meaningful achievements are not measured in ratings or wealth, but in relationships and the ability to help others find opportunities. His story shows how determination, learning from mistakes, and staying open to change can shape a life in unexpected ways.